Aquaculture sector in Malaysia is associated with economic status as it helps gaining benefits via fulfilling the domestic and foreign demands for the seafood. Malaysia has ranked in top 15 of the world producer with its estimated production, 521,000 tons. Aquaculture contributes 8.9% to the national agricultural gross domestic product (GDP), which creating an estimated 1,753,900 jobs for Malaysians. Disease occurrence and outbreaks would gain precedence due to its potential in eradicating fish stocks in aquaculture. The combination of stressful conditions from high stocking density in farms and deterioration of environmental conditions would aggravate the occurrence and severity of diseases. If the disease remains unresolved, farms are expected to incur loss of stocks, potentially disrupting the facility operations. Antibiotics is drugs that contain substances called antimicrobial agent that have the ability to inhibit or kill the microorganisms. It can be obtained from natural resource or chemically synthetic origins, that nowadays become important in treating disease for different sector. Most countries that make aquaculture as their important economic sector have exerted some regulation and limitation on the antibiotics application to their cultured seafood. However, there are also countries that are banning the uses of antibiotics in.
Antibiotics have different types of chemical compounds and structure that will works on different parts of bacterial cell functions. In spite of that, the antibiotics have been approved that it can give two effect mechanisms, which are 1. Bactericidal effect. Antibiotics that fully functions on killing the bacteria by disturbing the development of its cell wall or destroying its cell content. As an example, penicillin. 2. Bacteriostatic effect. Antibiotics that inhibit bacteria from reproduce by disrupting the protein production, DNA replication and its other cellular metabolism. As an example,
Antibiotics are very useful as long as it is used in certain amount. It should be safe to allow its chemotherapeutic agents to work against the infectious disease. However, excessive usage of these antibacterial substances would lead to negative consequences which affecting 1. Cultured fish. Nephrotoxicity can cause acute renal failure in fish, inability for the fish to maintain and control their fluid homeostasis that could possibly lead to death. It also can give bad effects to the fish immune system. Immunogelation, a condition that can change quantity and function of cells and molecules in the body. 2. Environment and ecosystem. Most of the antibiotics that were added into the food pellet are not digested by fish and will be excreted into the water. This antibacterial residue will accumulate in the bottom and discharge as wastewater, eventually reach nearby ecosystem and destroying natural functions of ecosystem. 3. Human consumption. The cultured seafood such as fish and prawn consumed by humans somehow are proved to contain antibacterial residue that can be found in the edible tissue, that can cause toxic effects to human body, allergies and have changes in the microbial fauna in the digestive tract. Antibiotics not only inhibit and kill bacteria as it can also promote the evolution of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, could be dangerous to the public health because those bacteria can keep their resistance genes which eventually end up in the gene of human pathogens.
Cyclin. Antibacterial substances are utilized in aquaculture production to combat bacterial diseases. Antibiotics used as prophylactics and growth promoters are not considered as good management practice. The resulting hazards or issues from this action are: 1. Presence of high residue levels of approved antibiotics and/or residue or unapproved or banned antibiotics. 2. Development of resistance to antibiotics and microbial pathogens in the environment. The presence of antibiotics residue over approved maximum residue levels (MRLs) could be reduced through applying good management practices, CCP procedures, education, awareness building and working with the farmer.
Fish vaccines have been established and proven to be a cost-effective method for controlling against certain infectious diseases in cultured animals worldwide. Vaccination is an alternative prophylactic method to control the disease impacts. There are now many commercially available vaccines for finfish diseases such as furunculosis, Aeromonas salmonicida, Streptococcus sp, and infectious pancreatic necrosis, IPN. In addition to reducing the severity of disease losses, vaccines also reduce the need for antibiotics by leaving no residues in the product or environment, and do not induce pathogen resistance. Although vaccination is still not possible against shrimp and molluscan pathogens, it can be considered as other alternatives in treating.
In a nutshell, further research is needed to develop safe and effective methods and vaccines against bacteria, eliminating the need to apply antibiotics in aquaculture sector. The presence of residual antibiotics, antibiotic resistance in marine bacteria and fish pathogens, and effects on the diversity of phytoplankton and zooplankton in areas close to a culture farm need to be reduced in order to produce safer aquaculture product. Detection of low levels of residue of certain banned antibiotics in aquaculture products need to be prevented as in international trade. It has received the public attention for the public health and trade impacts of the use of antimicrobials in aquaculture.